Hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Sussex Talk with Special K Thoughts. How's everybody doing tonight? Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. How is the Success Squad family doing tonight? It is Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And in some parts of these United States of America, it is still cold, right? I mean, it is still cold. I mean, I believe up north it is snowing, right? Up north it's snowing. Okay, I see the thumbs up. I see the thumbs up. I can see that people can hear me, which is awesome. We're going to give people a couple of more minutes to join the chat, and then we'll start roll call. I'm so glad today is Friday. How about you guys? I am so glad today is Friday. Whew, it was a long week for me. You know what I'm saying? It was a long week. And of course, our faves, they were in the news, right? They were in the news. When those two speak, and of course, I'm talking about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. When those two speak, the whole world like stands still, right? Like the whole world stands still when Harry and Meghan speak, or they release a statement, right? I mean, all they have to do is release a statement and it makes world news. I just love it. How about you guys? I mean, I just love it. The irrelevant ones, the ones that live in Montecito, those royals. All right, we're going to give people a couple of more minutes to join the chat and then we're going to go ahead and get started because we got a couple of things to talk about, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you in the Success Squad have already talked about it, but we're going to talk about it some more. Okay? I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw the Duke, Prince Harry, and Serena Williams yesterday during the BetterUp Inner Workday conference. I'm pretty sure a lot of you in the chat watched that conference. And Special K, I watched basically the majority of the conference. Okay. I thought it was really, really good. So we're going to definitely talk about that. And we're going to talk about Spotify. Yes, absolutely. We're going to talk about Spotify because the fallout from that is still going on. So we're going to start roll call pretty soon. Give you guys some shout outs. And as usual, we're going to have fun in this podcast. I'm over here trying to pull up some stuff before we get started. All right. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to Success Talk with Special K Thoughts. Like I said, it's Friday night, it's the weekend, baby, and it is cold. It's cold, everybody. Let me know who you be. Let me know where you are from. We are an international squad. We are a global squad, wide on all sides of the globe. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, I see the usual suspects are in the house. And what I mean by usual suspects are, people that love to join this chat and that are here basically faithfully on Friday nights. All right. Again, let me know where you are from. Let me know where you're at. Give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me. Betty, welcome to the chat. Dari, welcome to the chat. Miss Lydia, welcome to the chat. Miss Rhonda, welcome to the chat. Miss Elaine, welcome to the chat. Elaine from the UK. Fancy, welcome. I don't think we saw you last week, Fancy. Miss Annie, welcome to the chat. Betty, welcome to the chat. Miss Rosa, welcome. Welcome. If there are any trolls, a lot of you guys I have made moderators, so you could kick them right on out. Miss Rachel, welcome to the chat. Church Nelly, welcome. Let me know where you guys are from. Miss Sylvia, welcome. Miss Joan, welcome. Miss Carolyn, welcome. Rachel, welcome. Let's see. Trinette, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Who needs a shot of holy water? All right. Make sure you do a thumbs up and make sure that you hit the thumbs up button. Let me know where you're from. I'm pretty sure that there's some people here from New York. Miss Joan, welcome. Commonwealth era. Let's see. Miss Beverly, welcome. Is somebody from the Virgin Islands? Hawaii? Somebody's from Hawaii? North Carolina's in the house. No, I don't see cookies and cream yet. Miss Diane, welcome. Let's see. Miss Jennifer, welcome. And you are from the UK. How are you doing? I know it's late. It's late in the UK, isn't it? I appreciate you staying up. Miss Susie Q, welcome. Let's see. Yep, the usual squatties. Is somebody snowed in? I wouldn't be surprised. Is it Dara? Welcome. Miss Elizabeth, welcome. Miss Jennifer, welcome. Yeah, there are probably a lot of squatties that are snowed in. Mr. Barron, welcome. Royal Success. Christine, how are you doing? How are you doing? Teari. I always spell that name. Tirai? I highly doubt that's how you say it. Sis Trin, welcome. Miss Donna, welcome. Miss Angela, welcome. Miss Catherine Bird, welcome. Kathy G, welcome to the chat. Miss Dolores, welcome. Mayra, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Miss Caroline, I don't know if I gave you a shout out yet, but welcome. Deidre, how are you doing? Miss Jacqueline, welcome. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Miss Kathleen, welcome. Welcome back to the chat. Mr. Kenneth, welcome. Thrive with Mary and I'm sorry. Thrive with Megan and Harry, welcome. How can I mess that up? All right, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you be. And like I was saying, our faves, they made some noise this week, but it was good noise, right? Miss Donna, welcome. Miss Emma, welcome. ORO, welcome. From Miami. Wow, it's 73 degrees in Miami? My goodness. Is it cold in Texas? I bet. Somebody's from Orlando, Florida. Frida, welcome. Friday does come fast, doesn't it? But I'm happy. I'm happy that Friday comes fast. Woo! Oh my goodness. Is somebody from Canada? All right. So it's cold in Canada? I bet. I was reading, you know, in social media about what's going on in Canada with the truckers. So, I'm pretty sure that that situation is having an impact on the majority of people that live in Canada, I would think. Um, but yeah, let's see. Angela, welcome. Mr. Arnold, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. It feels so good when you see some of the same names. You know what I mean? I love it. Just like I love it when I see new names. Miss Sandra, welcome. And you are from Los Angeles. That's what I was looking for. A Cali squatty. Okay, we got somebody from Georgia. Miss Deidre's from Georgia. The Bronx, is it cold in the Bronx? I bet. Let's see. Oh, Sistren, you're from Brooklyn? Okay. For real. How are you doing? Yes, good vibes. Good vibes. We need good vibes, don't we? Somebody else is from Florida. South Carolina is in the house, of course. Got to give a shout out to South Carolina, Illinois, Texas, Detroit. Detroit is in the house. Hey, is it snowing in Detroit? I know Detroit gets a lot of snow. Let's see. Okay, we got somebody else from Canada. All right. Our fellow Northern American brothers and sisters. All right. Okay, somebody's from Houston. How are you doing, Sarah? We got somebody from Ohio in the house. New Orleans is in the house. All right. That's what I like to see. Let's see. Somebody's from Atlanta. ATL has got to be in the house, right? Is it icy in Jersey? In New Jersey? I bet. The North always gets hit. And it's always usually in January, right? Well, it's February now, Special K, but it usually starts in January. It's a little late this year, don't you think? Okay, somebody's from. Are you from Northern California? All right, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss Bright Eyes PBJ. Is that North Cali? I got strong roots in Northern California. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. 209 area code. That is me. Ty Fletcher, welcome. Emerald, welcome from Haven, Florida. All right. We got somebody from North Carolina in the house. Bernadine, welcome to the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yolanda, welcome. Miss Gloria, welcome. She says it's cold in Texas. Oh my goodness. Berkeley, California. That's where you're from. Okay. Bright eyes. Berkeley, Cali. We got another person from Jersey, Florida. Man, your governor is tripping in Florida. You know what I'm saying? All right, we got somebody from Philly. Sonia's from Philly. And she says that it's raining and it's cold and it's icy. I say, let's see. All right. Well, everybody, welcome. I'm going to highlight this one because I know I'm going to mess the name up. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time tonight, but we are going to have a little chit chat, a family talk, a success family talk about our faves and what was going on with them this past week. And I'm pretty sure that everybody in the Success Squad, everybody that's in the Success family, is well aware of the Spotify situation and what's been going on there. And boy, it is a hot financial mess. Isn't Spotify a hot financial mess? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. So this past week, word came out that musicians Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. Well, it really started off with Neil Young. Um, he he threw a dagger down, and he said, "Hey, it's either me or Joe Rogan. If you guys do not get rid of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, then I'm going to pull my music from Spotify." Okay, and disclaimer alert: I am not a Neil Young fan. I had to pull his music up. I wasn't really aware of his music. I was aware of him though, which is interesting. But he's one of those rockers that have been around for a very, very, very long time, and he's comes from the I guess you could say the '60s generation, but he's had a lot of social conscious music that he's released, and he's definitely considered a legend uh, with fans of that generation across not just the United States but in the world. Just like Joni Mitchell is. And what Neil Young said was that he was going to pull his music from Spotify. Okay. And Spotify, as we all know, is a music and podcast streaming giant. Okay. I think Spotify is the biggest streaming giant when it comes to music and podcasts. I think Apple Podcasts is right behind them. But Spotify is the big major one. And the reason why, he was going to pull his music was because, he had objection to what he feels in regards to the disinformation and bad science that is being talked about on the very popular Joe Rogan's Experience podcast. And he was like, "Hey, Spotify, you guys got to choose. It's either me or him." And Spotify, they were quiet, didn't really say much. But the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, it's huge. Okay, it really is. It's huge. I wasn't aware of how big the Joe Rogan Experience podcast was. I didn't realize it was that huge. Okay. I honestly didn't. There are over 11 million listeners per episode. I mean, that is huge. All right. And due to that large audience, Joe Rogan has, he's got like $100 million contract with Spotify. Okay. And for those of you who don't know who Joe Rogan is, all right, he used to be the host on Fear Factor. You guys remember that show, Fear Factor? That show was crazy. I used to watch that show all the time, right? It was like people would face their fears. Okay, like if you had a fear of rats, right? They would have you like stick your hands and in like a bowl of rats, or they would have rats like crawl over your body. If you had a fear of heights, they would have you jump off um some huge building. I mean, the Fear Factor show was off the chain. So that's where I knew Joe Rogan from. Okay. However, that was many, many, many years ago. For whatever reasons, he has managed to be a prominent celebrity in the world of MMA, even though he's not a fighter. Okay. He is a UFC commentator. And this I did not know about Joe Rogan, but he's also a successful stand-up comedian. And he actually had comedy specials on Netflix. So that's something new that I learned about him. But anyway, back to Neil Young. Okay, so that's what Neil Young was facing. Okay. Joe Rogan versus him. He's like, hey, I'm pulling my music if you guys don't get rid of Joe Rogan. All right. So Spotify, they made a decision. They chose Joe Rogan. All right. They made a decision. They chose Joe Rogan. Neil Young was like, "All right, cool. Peace. I'm out." He pulled his music from Spotify. Joni Mitchell was like, "You know what? I'm out too." She pulled her music from Spotify. All right. And since then, there's been other artists that have pulled their music from Spotify. Now, one thing that kind of gets lost in the sauce about the story of Joe, not Joe, but the story of Neil and Joni pulling their music from Spotify. One thing that we have to realize and understand is that those artists, they own their music. Okay. They own their music. Okay. Not every artist that has their music streamed on Spotify owns their music. The record company owns their music. So therefore, not every music artist can just pull their music from Spotify. Okay. If they don't own it, they can't just pull it. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why you do not see a lot of big name artists pulling their music from Spotify, because they don't own it. It's up to the record company. So I just wanted to say that. All right. So another thing too is that Joe Rogan's deal with Spotify, I mean, it's a fairly new deal. He just signed it in 2020. Okay. Now, when I was looking up Joe Rogan, he has really said some very controversial things on his um podcast. I mean, he really has. And some of it's like really disgusting, right? I mean, he has said some really horrible things, and he has definitely said some misinformation, disinformation, things that just absolutely weren't true on his podcast. Now, I'm not going to really go into the gutter about his views, because his views are his views. Okay. His views are his view. His opinions are his opinions. Okay. But when he's telling misinformation about facts, then that's when it's a huge issue, because he has such a large audience. I mean, 11 million, right? 11 million listeners per night. That is that is huge. That's a huge responsibility, right? Sex Squad, 11 million listeners per podcast. That's a huge responsibility, and he basically, since he got that contract with Spotify, he's been saying some very, very untrue, dangerous things. Okay, some of the things that he has said is dangerous, can actually harm people, right? So some of the controversial things that he has said on his podcast was, he claimed that people who are healthy do not need to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, that's something that I read. Okay, and it's not like this guy's a doctor, right? This guy is an MMA commentator, okay, or I should say a UFC commentator who does a lot of MMA. Okay. But he claimed that people who are healthy, yeah, you don't need to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay. I mean, he said, and I beginning quote, I think for the most part, it's safe to get vaccinated. He started off with that, right? But then he goes on to say, but if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I go and say to you, no. If you're a healthy person and you are exercising all of the time and you are young, eating well, I don't think you need to worry about this. Wow. All right. And I'm pretty sure that the majority of his audience are young people, right? I'm pretty sure the majority of his audience are young people. And he's saying stuff like this on his podcast, just casually, matter of fact. Okay. Another thing that he said, which really caught my eye, and I was like, "What?" Because I mean, it was all in the news what happened and who started this, okay? But he actually accused left-wing people of starting the wildfires in Portland, Oregon. Remember those huge wildfires that were happening in Portland, Oregon for you US squatties? Okay, those wildfires were huge, right? But in reality, it was two campers that started the wildfires. Okay. And the FBI in Portland actually had to release a statement debunking that information. It's like, wow. Okay. And to bring it back to what he said, about if you're young and healthy, you don't need to take the COVID-19 vaccine. The White House, the White House, officials from the White House actually had to come on record and criticize those comments. I mean, that's huge. Okay. Um, I read somewhere else where uh he had actually got the COVID-19, not the COVID-19, but that he actually had um tested positive for, the coronavirus, right? And what does this dude do, right? What does this guy do? He actually gets on his podcast, right? And he tells his listeners that, yeah, I tested positive for the coronavirus, but, you know, I'm not going to get the vaccine because if I get the vaccine, it could alter your genes. He actually said this, right? I'm like floored, but he actually said this. Um, he said it can mess up your immune system, right? And so he said, I'm not going to take the COVID-19 vaccine, even though I've tested positive for the coronavirus. And he said that taking, right, instead of actually getting the COVID-19 shot, even though he's tested positive for the coronavirus, that he said what could cure that and what could probably cure him, right, if he takes these steroids that are meant for horses. I mean, can you actually believe that? And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. He took some steroids that people give horses. I mean, can you guys actually believe that? And see, that's something I had no idea. I did not know that he actually did that. And he was encouraging his viewers and his listeners to actually do that. Did anybody hear that? That he actually took, he had tested positive for the coronavirus, and instead of taking doctor's advice, that he went ahead and took some steroids that people actually give to horses, because he had gotten that advice from some doctor who doesn't believe in the COVID-19 vaccine. Right. He said that he had gotten this advice from world leading experts after reviewing the medical advice. I mean, when I read that, it just floored me. It's like, exactly. I had no words for that. None. When I heard that, I was like in shock. I was like, what? What's so funny is that you will take a steroid for horses, right? Instead of taking a shot that has been medically proven, right, to help people. Okay. Does that make any sense? Does that does that make any sense to you? I mean, that is straight crazy. I want to find the name of what he actually took. But yeah, I read that what he took was actually a steroid that they give horses. So you rather do that instead of taking a medically proven vaccine. You rather shoot yourself up with a steroid for horses instead of taking a medically proven vaccine. That makes absolutely no sense, right? So while he was spewing, all this information, all this misinformation, and basically putting people's lives in danger, right? Remember when Trump said that, oh, just drink a little bit of bleach and that will protect you from the coronavirus. Remember that? Well, this guy is basically doing the same thing, right? He's basically doing the same thing. And it he has been criticized regularly by medical and scientific communities for spreading dangerous conspiracy theories and misinformation about the coronavirus. Okay? So in December, more than 250 scientists and physicians sent an open letter to Spotify condemning them for amplifying, misleading the false claims. Okay, so this misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theories, right? That this guy has been spewing on Spotify, that Joe Rogan has been spewing on Spotify, right? Spotify has been contacted by different music artists, and they have been contacted by the White House, right? If the White House has to put out a statement saying that this person that has this podcast on your streaming network is putting out misinformation, the White House is saying this, right? So I'm pretty sure the White House didn't just release a statement, right? I'm pretty sure somebody from the White House contacted Spotify, right, and said, hey, okay, Joe Rogan Experience, he is spewing misinformation, dangerous information about COVID-19. Okay. He is not in any position to be telling young people that they don't need to take the vaccine. Okay. I'm pretty sure Spotify heard from the White House. I'm pretty sure Spotify has heard from the FBI when Joe Rogan had stated that, it was left wing people that had started the fires in Portland, and the FBI had to release a statement saying, no, 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 that's not true. It was two campers that started those wildfires in Portland, Oregon. Okay. So then you have 250 scientists and physicians who sent an open letter to Spotify condemning them for amplifying this misleading and false claims, these conspiracy theories, and this misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. So you got the FBI saying that this guy is dangerous. Okay, they didn't necessarily say that Joe Rogan was dangerous, but you got the FBI releasing statements that have to correct what this man says. You got the White House who had to release a statement stating that what this man is saying is not true. And then you got 250 scientists and physicians who had to send an open letter to Spotify, okay, telling them that what Joe Rogan is saying is not true and it's misleading and it's false claims and it's just wrong. He's putting people in danger, right? So it's like Spotify. This isn't new to Spotify, is what I'm saying. Joe Rogan, okay, the stuff that he's been saying, this misleading information, these false claims, this dangerous stuff that he's been saying on his show since he signed his contract with Spotify in 2020, this is not new to Spotify. They have been warned by the White House, the FBI, and scientists and physicians. But they have decided to keep on keeping on, and they have allowed him to say whatever it is that he wants to say, right? So Spotify really needs to be held accountable just as much as Joe Rogan needs to be held accountable. Spotify has been warned. He has been, not Spotify. Yes, I'm sorry. Spotify has been warned. That company has been warned over and over and over again. Okay. And it just shows you how much money really does talk, right? So, like I said, Neil Young, bam, pulled his music. Joni Mitchell, bam, pulled her music. Okay. Um, and so we're going to go ahead and talk about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Okay. While all this was going on, they decided to go ahead and release a statement. Okay. Yes, our faves, they went ahead and they released a statement. And this is what they had to say. All right. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Since the inception of Archwell, we have worked to address the real time global misinformation crisis. Hundreds of millions of people are affected by the serious harms of rampant mis and disinformation every day. Last April, I repeat, last April, our co founders began expressing concerns to our partners at Spotify about the all too real consequences of COVID-19 misinformation on its platform. We have continued to express our concerns to Spotify to ensure changes to its platform are made to help address this public health crisis. We look to Spotify to meet this moment and are committed to continuing our work together as it does. End quote. All right. So, what did you guys think about that statement from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? What did you guys think? I'm kind of curious to what people thought in the chat. And then I will go ahead and tell you what I thought about their statement. Okay. What did you guys think in the chat? Because I had a lot of people DM me about their thoughts about their statement. And I'm just kind of curious to know what people in the chat thought about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's statement in regards to Spotify. I mean, there were some things that we learned, right, in that statement, which I thought was interesting, right? Which I thought was, oh, okay, all right. One thing that stood out for me, right, in their statement was that, you know, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, they made it clear that they've been speaking with Spotify since last April about their concerns in regards to uh, the misinformation, disinformation that has been stated on some of these podcasts on Spotify. Now, what I liked about their statement was that they did not mention any names. Okay, I thought that was smart. I thought that was clever, right? They didn't mention any names, right? They didn't put the spotlight on Joe Rogan, which I thought was smart. Okay. And, but they made it clear that they've been speaking with Spotify since last April about their concerns. Okay. So, I thought that me personally, I really honestly didn't think they needed to release a statement. That's just me. I don't know about you guys, but I really didn't think that they needed to release a statement because at the end of the day, what's ever going on between them and Spotify is between them and Spotify, right? But what stood out for me definitely the fact of what happened after they released the statement. It's like what happened after they released the statement. Okay. So Miss Dolores says, I thought it was a statement that let their feeling known without identifying anyone. Exactly. I thought the statement was smart. I thought it was a really smart, clever statement because they didn't, like I said, they didn't name no names. They didn't put the spotlight on Joe Rogan Experience. Okay. They just let us know that, hey, yes, we've been having concerns too, and we've been speaking with Spotify since last April. Okay. So, once they released their statement, what happened after that? I mean, it's like we all know what happened after that, right? Spotify, they go ahead and release their statement. And I thought, wow, okay, wow, right? Because think about it. When Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, when they pulled their music from Spotify, Spotify, they were still kind of quiet, right? They didn't really they weren't really putting themselves out there in regards to how they felt about the situation. They were still kind of laying low, right? When Neil Young and Joni Mitchell pulled their music. Okay. And then when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex comes out and they just, drop their statement, then oh no, all of a sudden Spotify decides that they're going to go ahead and release their statement in regards to what they're doing. So, like I was saying, just hours after the Duke and Duchess released their statement, the CEO of Spotify announced that the company is planning to implement changes to help combat misinformation. Hmm. It's become clear to me that we have an obligation to do more to provide balance and access to widely accepted information from the medical and scientific communities, guiding us through this unprecedented time. Spotify will be working to add a content advisor to any podcast episode that includes a discussion about COVID-19 and begin testing ways to highlight out platform rules in our creator publisher to tool to raise awareness around what's acceptable and help creators understand their accountability. Now, see, that should have been done many, 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 many years ago. Okay. Creators should already know what is acceptable on Spotify, right? Creators should already know and understand what their accountability is when they say certain things on their podcasts that are played on Spotify, right? That should be nothing new. So I thought that part of the statement was, interesting. So, and of course, Joe Rogan, he finally responds. He does his response on Instagram. And, he basically says that he agrees with Spotify's plan to label episodes with COVID-19 discussions, with the advisory sticker. He added he wanted to balance things out. He wants to balance things out. He wants to have more experts with different opinions, right after the controversial ones. Well, no. You should have experts, right? And then people with differing opinions on your show at the same time. That's the more balanced. Okay. You don't have like a medical expert on one show and then your next show you have people with different opinions. No, you have them both at the same time on your show so they can have a lively debate, right? All right. So, Joe, he says that he didn't want no problems with Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, that he was fans of theirs. Um, this is what I thought was interesting. He says that the podcasts are just conversations. That is the appeal of his show. He admits that some of his ideas are not prepared. I thought that was interesting. And he says that he is so sorry that Spotify is taking so much heat. Now, how many of you in the chat actually believe this guy? Like, I don't believe one word he's saying. Okay, I don't. I don't believe a word that he's saying. I believe that whatever he's saying on his podcast, he's saying it because he believes it's true. Okay. He really believed that it was some left wing people that started those fires in Portland, Oregon. Okay. He really believed that if you're young and you're healthy, you do not need to take the COVID-19 vaccine. He really believed that taking steroids that you give to horses will cure the coronavirus. He really believed that. Okay. That's what I believe. And when I read his response, it seemed like to me that he was kind of clueless in regards to his responsibility to his listeners. Okay. He thinks that his podcasts are just about having conversations. Well, yeah, that's true. Your podcasts are about having conversations. But when you are talking about, okay, people's health, right? When you're talking about, a worldwide virus that has killed literally millions of people across the world, you want to make sure that you're giving out the right information. Okay, that's responsibility. That's not just about having a conversation. You need to be responsible for what you're saying. All right. When he made that statement about young people don't need to take the COVID-19 vaccine, I wonder if there were any young people that were listening to him and they didn't take the COVID-19 vaccine and they ended up getting the coronavirus and died. I wonder if anybody's researched that. Think about it. I wonder if anybody's researched that. I mean, that's some dangerous stuff, right? That's some dangerous stuff. All right. Let me see what's going on in the chat. So, in regards to somebody said, I don't believe anything that nut says. I mean, I think he's, and I was reading somewhere that he was a Bernie bro, right? That he had Bernie Sanders on his show. And, he said that, he was gonna support Bernie Sanders and he had Bernie Sanders back. And then Bernie Sanders tweeted how Joe Rogan was backing him up and that he had Joe Rogan's support, and the backlash Bernie Sanders got. I mean, there was a huge backlash that Bernie Sanders got. A lot of the Bernie bros were like, "Oh no, that guy is horrible. He's a conspiracy theorist and he tells all this information on his shows. No. If you support him, Bernie, we're not going to support you."
I was like, whoa. So, I just was kind of clueless in regards to Joe Rogan and a lot of the misinformation, disinformation that he was saying, you know, and that's dangerous, like I was saying. So back to what I was talking about with Spotify. Do you guys think that Spotify is going to change their tune and they're going to follow through and do what they said they were going to do? You guys think they are? Me personally, I think they just put a band-aid on it, right? I think they just put a band-aid on it because I've heard since then that there's been more artists that are trying to pull their music off of Spotify, right? Black Queen, thank you. Thank you very much for the donation. We appreciate it. All right. So TCC Sun says, yeah, but will Spotify follow through? To me, it's just a statement. We'll see. Harry and Meghan magnify the spotlight. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, when Harry and Meghan speak, global media pays attention, right? I mean, they pay attention. Okay. Neil Young pulling his music from Spotify, that was a huge deal. Okay. Because I heard that since Neil Young and Joni Mitchell have pulled their music from Spotify, that there's been like a 2 million, not a 2 million, like a 2 billion loss, financial loss. I don't know how much that is true. I honestly don't. But I had read that somewhere. Um, but India Irie. Did you guys hear about the India Irie story? Right. Here's another thing I did not know about Joe Rogan. Okay, and it really floors me how that story did not get way more attention. Okay, but did you guys hear about India Irie? Okay, anybody hear about India Irie? India Irie, okay, is pulling her music from Spotify as well. And she's got a podcast on Spotify. Oh, so Bruce, that's going to be the dagger. Really? Is Bruce Springsteen pulling his music? That's huge. Okay. Bruce Springsteen pull his music, I think it's a wrap for Spotify. To be to be honest. And then Bruce Springsteen, he got the podcast with Barack Obama. Okay. Is it called Renegades? And speaking of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, they got their podcast with Spotify. Now they've been quiet. They haven't said anything. Okay, they've been quiet. Okay, and they have their reasons for being quiet. All right, that's on them. I'm not gonna say anything negative. I just think it's quite interesting how they haven't, you know, said anything yet. But if Bruce Springsteen pulls his music, that is huge. The boss pulling his music, I mean, that is huge if he does. But back to India.Arie. All right. That's right. Bruce is the boss. Okay, somebody's saying that the Obamas are looking for a new platform. I hope. Well, I'm gonna keep my 2 cents about that. All right, I'm not gonna say nothing. All right, but yes, India.Arie. Okay, I had no idea that this man actually said this, but he's saying racist stuff on his podcast. He actually dropped the N word like something like over 20 times. I was not aware of that. Was anybody in the chat aware of that? Like, really? And you're right. India.Arie had the receipts to prove it. Go on her IG page. This man is actually saying the N word. He just drops it like 20 over 20 times. Okay? So I'm like, how in the world did he get away with that? How come Matt's story was not amplified? That this guy is being all racist on his podcast. Okay? So Spotify, Look at the character of Spotify. Okay. And I understand that they are a huge, giant streaming service. I mean, I get it, right? I get it. Trust me, I get it. Okay. But at the end of the day, right, losing the Joe Rogan contract is not going to break Spotify. It's not. Okay. It's not. All right. So I'm glad that, Harry and Meghan released their statement. At first, I was kind of like, I didn't really feel like they needed to release a statement. But, you know, they went ahead, released their statement. Spotify, answered. Joe Rogan, he said his statement. Oh, so is he a Trump supporter? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be. But check out the Bernie Sanders story though. It's on the internet. Google it. Okay, because Bernie Sanders was on his show. And Joe Rogan, endorsed Bernie Sanders. And then when all the Bernie bros were like, "Oh, hell no. Bernie, if you accept his endorsement, we're not voting for you," and da 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 da. Bernie Sanders took that mess back. Yeah, I mean, like the India Irie story is huge. And like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how did he get away with that? How did he get away with dropping that horrific N word all those times? And that story did not get huge national attention. Okay. He's had a lot of, you know, black famous people on his shows, on his podcasts. Okay. So anyway, India Irie, she dropped the receipts. She said, "Hey, I'm pulling my music. I'm pulling my podcast." Right. And I'm pretty sure that if there were other music artists that owned their music, there probably would be more that would pull their music from Spotify. Okay. So things aren't looking too good for Spotify right now. And, disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. I release my podcast on Spotify. I mean, I'm a very, very small, small, small fish in a big ass pond, a big ass sea, you know. But, I'm thinking about possibly not, releasing my podcast on Spotify and just do Apple Podcasts, you know. But I have more listeners on Spotify than I do Apple. Okay. So, anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what Spotify does. It's going to be interesting to see what Harry and Meghan do. And you know what I found just so interesting as well is remember all the stories that were starting to come out from the British toe fungus press. They were so um, anxious and wondering how come Harry and Meghan hadn't released, another podcast, and they were starting to do stories and putting it out there in the atmosphere, that Spotify was upset with Harry and Meghan because they had only done one podcast. Remember that? Remember those stories were coming out right before all this started? That they were starting to write stories that, hey, Harry and Meghan have only done one podcast, and that Spotify was upset with Harry and Meghan and a blah, 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 blah. Remember that? And then all of a sudden, bam, this develops. And that's another thing that I liked about Harry and Meghan's statement that, hey, we've been speaking with Spotify since April about our concerns, right? So I thought that was like funny and a slap in the face to the, toe fungus British press as well. But yeah, I'm on Apple as well. So you guys can check me out on Apple if you don't want to be on Spotify. But back to what I was saying though. If Bruce Springsteen pulls his music from Spotify, I mean, really, honestly, I think that's a wrap for Spotify. I mean, I do, right? I really, really do. Because Bruce Springsteen, he's like an American treasure, right? Even I like Bruce Springsteen. Okay. Even I like Bruce Springsteen. Even Special K is a fan of Bruce Springsteen. Okay. You talk about Bruce. You talk about the boss. Right. So if he pulls his music, whoo, Spotify is gonna have to really make some serious decisions. Is Joe Rogan really worth it? Okay. Is he really, really worth it? Now, back to what I was saying about, you got music artists who own their own music, they own their own masters, so they can just pull their stuff off of Spotify, right? And you got other music artists who don't own their music, they don't own their masters, so they can't just pull their music off of Spotify or iTunes, because the record company has to make that decision, because the record company owns the music, right? Well, when it comes to podcasters, right, you can't just break a contract. Okay, when you read stories that, oh, Harry and Meghan, they're going to keep the millions, and they released that statement, but they're still going to keep the millions, and da 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 da. Um, a business arrangement is a business arrangement. A contract is a business contract. You can't just conduct business that way. Okay, you can't just break a contract. Okay, you can't just break a contract. You have to conduct yourself in a professional way. And that's another thing I liked about Harry and Meghan's statement. It was a very professionally written statement, right? They didn't name any names. They just said, hey, we've been speaking with Spotify since April, letting them know, hey, we've got some concerns. Okay. So they have a contract with Spotify, and we have no idea how much that contract is. All these numbers, that it's an $18 million contract, it's a $25 million contract, but blah 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 blah. Don't none of them so-called royal rodent reporters have a clue to how much Harry and Meghan's contract is. They don't know shit. Okay, they don't know a damn thing. Okay, they have no idea. Okay, how much that contract is. And talk about, well, they've taken millions. They might not have been paid anything. All right. How are you doing? Is it Shield? Shell? All right. They might not have been given any money for their contract. So those royal reporters, those royal clowns, they can just shut the hell up. You know, waiting on somebody's podcast, somebody that you can't stand, just waiting around for their podcast, so you guys just trash it. That's right. They're pitiful. Pitiful clowns, aren't they? Yeah, I agree that too. I agree with that. You know, they want to see Harry and Meghan with no money, and that's just weird to me. Weird, right? Like, why does it bother you so much that somebody else is making money? Like, why? Why you got your hands in their pockets, right? Why you got your hands in their pockets? Crazy. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what Spotify does. Um, I think that they are going to do their best to follow through, because it's bleeding for them right now. It is. It's bleeding for them right now. And yes, they are probably the biggest streaming giant out there, but giants can fall. And there are other streaming, you know, media networks out there. Okay, you got Apple Podcasts, right? You got Google, right? You got what else? You got Amazon. You got these other streaming services that are more than willing and waiting to take whatever artists that want to leave Spotify. Okay. And remember when Harry and Meghan first signed their deal with Spotify, and there were some people in the press that were wondering why they didn't sign a deal with um, with Apple. Remember that? Because the Me You Can't See was featured on Apple TV. So people were wondering, hey, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting that Harry and Meghan signed a deal with Spotify and not Apple Podcast. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I just found it very, very interesting that as soon as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex released their statement, Spotify responded. And you have the haters who are saying, "Oh, they didn't respond just because of Harry and Meghan." Well, I think Harry and Meghan had a lot to do with their response because, like I was saying, when Neil Young and Joni Mitchell pulled their music, Spotify was still kind of quiet, right? They still were kind of quiet. They were still kind of, keeping low. But when Harry and Meghan released their statement, oh, Spotify all of a sudden, they're releasing statements, and it was quite a few people from Spotify that were releasing statements and posting stuff on Twitter. Okay, I saw like two or three different posts from different management personnel on Spotify letting us know what they're going to do. So, Harry and Meghan, they got some pull. I don't care what their critics say. I don't care what their haters say. Harry and Meghan have some pull. Okay. And it kind of makes you wonder, or it kind of makes you think, oh, maybe there really is, you know, a reason why they've only released one podcast. Okay. Because they're not too sure if they want to be on this platform. Okay. And I commend them for that. I really, really do. I commend them for that. All right. All right. We got 315 in the chat. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. We were talking about Spotify, of course, Joe Rogan Experience, um, Neil Young and Joni Mitchell pulling their music from Spotify. I know somebody in the chat. Somebody in the chat name me a Neil Young song. Is there anybody in the chat? Let me pull him up because there is a song by Neil Young that I do love. Okay, there's a song by him that I love, and I have some cousins that live in Louisiana, and there's a song that he sings that they love. It's something about the bayou, and I'm like, oh, he sings that song. I I just got it. Born on the Bayou. Okay, Born on the Bayou. That's a good song. I'm not gonna sing it, but oh, okay, there you go. That's another one. Keep on rocking in the free world. That's the song. Keep on rocking in the free world. You know what? You know where I saw him sing that song? It was on TV, and he was singing it with Pearl Jam, the lead singer of Pearl Jam. And let me tell you, that was epic. That was epic. Okay. Neil Young, and I think it was Eddie Vedder. They were singing Keep on Rocking in the Free World. Sweet Caroline. See, I don't know anything about Sweet Caroline. Sorry. Don't know anything about that. But yeah, me too. Wherever Harry and Meghan go, yes, I will follow. Oh, okay. Yes, I was aware that she had a podcast on Spotify, and she's not releasing any new any new content. Um, so it'll be interesting to see where her situation goes as well. Is it Brian Brown? I'm probably saying her first name wrong, but she was featured on Harry and Meghan's Christmas podcast. So yeah, she's not releasing any new content. But read her statement about that, okay? Because her statement about that is not exactly what I was thinking, if that makes any sense. Okay. What I'm trying to say is read her statement about that because the reason why she's not releasing any new content, I can't talk, it's probably not the reason that you think it is. Okay. If that makes any sense. Um, but to be honest, I think she'll be back because at the end of the day, these people have contracts. You can't just break a contract. You can't. You can't just break a contract without financial consequences. Okay. Down by the river. I don't know what that song is. Getting a music lesson on Neil Young. But he's an American icon. He is. And you know, we Americans, we treasure those music icons like Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Bruce Springsteen, you know, who else is another one? Somebody like Stevie Wonder. Those guys are American icons. And those guys are about it when it comes to money. They will pull their stuff. For them, it's not about money. Okay. It's about integrity. And um, those guys are seen as American treasures. You know, they're historical American music artists. Um, but I don't know. He might be Canadian. Neil Young, maybe he may be Canadian. I have to look that up. But a lot of his music is Southern, so that's kind of I highly doubt that he's Canadian. Um, Let me check real quick before I move on. Let's see. Somebody who's singing "Born on the Bayou," I doubt that they're Canadian though. Are there bayous in Canada? Let's see. It says he is a Canadian American singer, musician, songwriter. After embarking on a music career in Canada in the 60s, he moved to Los Angeles, joining Buffalo Springfield and Stephen Stills, Richard Foray, and others. So was he in a group? He must have was in a group first and then he went solo? Let's see. Was he in Crosby, Stills, and Nash? You learn something every day. But he is. He is Canadian. Let's see. Yeah, I would have never thought that. Somebody who sings a song called Born on the Bayou. He got Americanized real quick. So he was. He was in Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. Yeah, that's what it says. Let's see. Well, that's cool. I mean, but at the end of the day, though, he's here in America. He is seen as an American treasure. He's an American treasure with Canadian roots, which is awesome. So those Cajuns come from Canada. Would that be French Canadian? See how we're learning something new? We're learning about people's different ethnic backgrounds. Sweet Caroline was sung by Neil Diamond. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought, but I wasn't, I wasn't too sure. Keith Urban. Who is that? Oh, he's a country singer? Huh. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on because it's time to talk about the People's Prince, our favorite prince, our ginger prince, Prince Harry. Yes, it's time to move on and talk about Prince Harry. But before we talk about um, his conversation that he had with Serena Williams on internet, inner work day for BetterUp. I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied, but before we talk about that, let's go ahead and get this out the way. All right, let's go ahead and get this out the way, Success family. Should Prince Harry just shave it all off or keep his hair the way it is? Should Prince Harry just go for it and shave it all off or should he just keep his hair the way it is? There was a lot of talk about Prince Harry's hair. I thought that was so funny because to me he looks good. I'm gonna need to cough. But to me, Prince Harry, our favorite prince, the people's prince, the global prince, he looks good. And I think people need to leave him alone when it comes to his hair. That's right. Yeah. He needs to keep it the way it is. All right. Leave Prince Harry alone. Okay. I love the new haircut too. You could tell he got it cut. Okay. You could tell that he got it cut. And you could tell that his beard, you know, he got that fixed up. He was looking good. He was looking good. I see the majority of people in the chat feel like he needs to keep his hair the way it is. But of course, we got somebody who says that he needs to shave it. I just cannot see a bald headed Prince Harry. I can't see it. I can't see it. I think he needs to keep it the way it is. He looks handsome. He looks fit, right? You could tell that somebody hooked his hair right on up. Somebody hooked up his beard. He must have went to the barber shop. He must have went, to one of them barber shops in Santa Barbara, right? Not a barber shop in Montecito. He went somewhere on the south side of Santa Barbara. I'm just playing. I was reading on Twitter, somebody said that, Prince Harry, he went to go see Jamal at the barber shop. He got his stuff, lined up. But he looks good. He looks fit. He looks fabulous. Right? Yeah, I mean, we don't know. It's possible, but he looked like his stuff was lined up by a black barber. I'm just saying. Maybe Serena hooked him up. Maybe Serena knew somebody that could, come to the crib and hook him right on up. Oh no, we got some people saying no, he needs to shave it off. Really? Emerald, really? Oh, you said don't shave it off. My bad. Gotcha. Okay, Emerald. You said no, 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 don't shave it off. He looks great. Yeah. He 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 looks good. He looks fit. You can tell that he's working out. Okay. And he looks happy. He looks refreshed. Yes, he was very well groomed. He was, and he is handsome as hell. I don't care what nobody said, but Meghan, she upgraded Prince Harry. I'm sorry. She really upgraded him. She really, really did. I have never. before Meghan, right? I never looked at Prince Harry as hot. Okay. But he has been looking hot. Like, damn, he fine. Like he's hot, handsome. Okay. Pre Meghan, I thought he was cute in a goofy way. Right? I thought Prince pre Meghan, I thought Prince Harry was cute in a goofy way. Right. But he always looked a little rough to me. Not unless he was in his military uniform. But to me, he always came across as a little, you know, rough. Like, his shirts didn't look like they were iron. His pants were always a little big. Like, and that's why I liked him. I liked that appeal. Right. I liked that appeal. Okay. I liked the scruffy look that he had going on back in those days, right? When he was not in a military uniform. But after marrying Megan, you could tell that he has upgraded. Okay. Now I have to admit, at the wedding, I thought he needed to be lined up way more in regards to his beard. I was a little disappointed in that. And Lord knows, them shoes, oh my God. Them shoes, them broke, busted, suede brown shoes that he wore at little Archie's christening. Oh my God. It's like, no, he didn't. But I guess Megan was like, you know what? I'm gonna let my man do him. I Yeah, I mean, so he said he likes messy. Okay. And I can see that. His thing is, hey, as long as it's clean and I'm comfortable, hey, it's all good. That's probably how, he goes about it. But Prince Harry was looking good yesterday, right? He was looking good. So I see the majority of people in the chats feel like, you know, he shouldn't shave it off. He should keep his hair the way it is and just constantly keep it lined up, shaped up, right? Prince Harry continued to see Jamal at the barbershop. That's all. Just continue to see him or continue to allow Jamal to come to Montecito and hook you up, line you up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he did. He had a complete shape up. He did. I agree. He did. He had a complete shape up. Okay. I agree with that. Let's see what does this one say. Yeah, Megan upgraded Harry. Harry, the point was at Skull and Bones' wedding. He looked terrible. He was a hot mess at their wedding. Now I remember that. He Prince Harry looked like he just rolled out of bed and rolled into that uniform and took his hands and put his hands in his hair and just ruffled his hair up and he was out. He was out. But all right, we're going to go ahead and talk about the GOAT, Serena Williams and Prince Harry, and their appearance at the BetterUp Inner Workday Summit that we all saw yesterday. I'm pretty sure the majority of you in the chat saw that yesterday. But before we get started, I need people to go ahead and put a thumbs up. I want to see some flowers. I want to see some roses. I want to see drinks, just whatever is positive in the chat. So we want to do a hand clap for Serena Williams, the GOAT. Yes, yes, we want to do a hand clap for Prince Harry's barber. We want to do a big hand clap for that. We want to do a hand clap, for Prince Harry, and we want to do a hand clap for BetterUp because I'm telling you, I watched the majority of the summit and I learned a lot of things from the BetterUp Summit. All right, so let's do a thumbs up. Let's do roses. Let's do flowers. Let's do hand claps for BetterUp, Prince Harry, the GOAT, Serena Williams. All right, there you guys go. Yeah, wine, wine, praise. That's right. Hand claps. All right. You guys are looking good in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, hey Lorna, how you doing? If you're just joining the chat, welcome, welcome, welcome. Church Nelly, you never disappoint. That's right. He did though. He did. You're right. Is it Marshar? He did. He got a shape up. I mean, whoever his barber is hooked him up. Okay. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Um, we appreciate that. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Prince Harry and the GOAT, Serena Williams. Their chat, or their appearance, I should say, their conversation that they had, the BetterUp Summit in regards to Inner Workday. And like I said, I did watch the majority of the summit. And, the presenters were really, really good. And the different people that they had on there were really, really good. And it gave me more of an understanding of how BetterUp works. Okay. And I just wish that the company that I work for would contract with BetterUp. I think that it would do our agency some good. I think it would do the employees some good. Yes, Serena Williams, to me, she's the GOAT. She's the greatest of all time when it comes to tennis. Okay. So that's why I'm referring to her as the GOAT, greatest of all time. But like I was saying, I had learned um, a lot about inner work day because I really honestly didn't know what inner work day was. Did you guys know what inner day work was? I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. Okay. I had no idea what they were talking about. I'm gonna highlight this comment right here. Harry has no problem being in his own skin. He's mentioned that he's balding. He is handsome. Yes, I absolutely agree. Um, but I had no idea what inner workday was about. What the hell do they mean inner workday? Well, if you watched the summit yesterday, you found out what it was about. Okay. And in the chat, I want those of you who actually watched the summit to let me know, what did you learn, and is there anything in this summit that you're going to apply in your own personal life? Okay, because there are some things that I learned that I'm going to apply in my own personal life. All right. And I would say the number one thing that I'm going to apply in my own personal life is special K thoughts. You have got to at least dedicate 15 minutes of the day to yourself. Okay. That's something I'm definitely going to start doing. And that's something I learned at the summit yesterday. Okay. I think Prince Harry said he tries to do 30 to 45 minutes a day. I'm going to start off with at least 15 minutes today, a day. Okay. Somebody in the chat said that they were going to follow up with their HR department about BetterUp. Yeah. The agency I work for, I know they're going to be like, oh, hell no. What the hell are you talking about? Because the type of job I do, I just don't see it. But you never know. You never know. I shouldn't start off defeated, right? I probably should say something to our HR department. Let's see what they said. But anyway, that's one thing that I took away from that. I'm going to start setting aside at least 15 minutes of the day for myself and increase that as time goes on. All right. That's something that I definitely learned. And this is another one I thought was good. And I think Serena Williams was saying something about that. Set boundaries in my life, right? Set boundaries. Um, Setting boundaries is not an issue for me, but it is an issue for a lot of people. Okay, setting boundaries. You have a lot of people who feel guilty when they tell people no, right? You do have a lot of people who feel guilty telling somebody no. Okay, and you got to set boundaries. Okay, so I think that's a very good takeaway for people who struggle with that, setting boundaries. Um, all right, so um, during the virtual event for BetterUp, the employee coaching and mental health service provider that Harry joined in 2021 as a chief impact officer, and I think a lot of the critics don't understand exactly what Prince Harry does because in regards to some of the negative comments, you constantly read that he's not a mental health professional, he has no business giving advice. Well, he's not giving advice in regards to mental health. What he is actually doing is he is talking about his own mental health experiences and what he has done or what he is doing that helps him. Okay. Who doesn't do that? Don't we all do that? Okay. Like that's what people do. People who have issues and they overcome those issues talk about what tools that they use to help them overcome those issues. But anyway, common sense doesn't come to everybody. But so Prince Harry, he joined BetterUp 2021 as a chief impact officer. Okay. What we learned was that Williams admitted that the Duke of Sussex has become one of her go-to people for help solving some of her life's problems. Now, when she said that, how many of us were like, "What?" Like, "Whoa, really? Wasn't that cool?" That was cool to learn that. Okay, so Serena said, beginning quote, "I know I joke a lot, but Harry is actually one of my coaches." Williams said during a conversation with the company's CEO. "Whenever I see him, he's always solving all my life's problems. So I kind of give that to your Better Up coach. It's kind of helped me. I'm like, okay, I need some more problems to solve. When can I come over? Because you just always figure it out for me." And she said that they have long talks on Harry's lawn. I just thought that was awesome. Because remember the rumors that were going around that Meghan and Serena no longer speak? That Serena all of a sudden doesn't speak to Meghan anymore. And, you know, we've come later to find out that Serena is spending time in Montecito with Meghan and Harry, and Harry is giving her all kinds of advice that works for her. So that was awesome. Hand clap for that. Hand clap for that. So, and what I loved about Prince Harry was, though, he knows that he's helpful, but he admitted that he has to regularly remind himself to focus on his well being. Beginning quote, "The self care is the first thing that drops away when you are experiencing burnout. I'm happy to admit that as a husband, as a dad," he shared, adding that he tries to spend 30 to 45 minutes every morning to focus on himself. Beginning quote, "Okay, one of the kids has gone to school. The other one's taking a nap." Aww. Didn't your heart melt a little bit when he said that? One of the kids, Archie, is going to school, and the other one's taking a nap. Lily. There's a break in our program. It's like, right, it's either for workout, take the dog for a walk, get out of nature, maybe meditate. It's me time that the Duke says as is just as important as brushing one's teeth. Okay. And Serena, she admitted she still has a lot of work to do. Okay. On following in Harry's footsteps, confessed that her biggest struggle is when it comes to losing. Right. "I even hate that word," she explained, "because for me, if I have a loss, I actually learn so much from it. But some of the best Some of my best growth has come from a loss. And I thought when she said that, that was very, very, very important. Right. That's very important. See, that's why she's the greatest of all time. Okay. All the times that we've seen Serena, you know, appear to be very upset when she loses a match, or she appears to be upset or frustrated, when her game is not on point, or she gets frustrated when the refs get the call wrong. And the press goes in on Serena. I mean, they go in on her when she gets upset, right? Or when she expresses frustration during these tennis matches. When she calls the refs out and says, "Hey, you got the call wrong." Okay? Or if she, takes her tennis racket and bangs it, on the tennis court, the press go in on her and call her all kinds of names and say that, she's a crybaby, and they get racial with it. But it's a-okay for the other guy. I don't know how to say his name, but the tennis player that refuses to take the COVID-19 vaccine, and he got held up in Australia. Who is that fool? Okay, he got held up in Australia, and then Australia was like, "Yeah, and as a matter of fact, you're not even going to play in the Australian Open." Okay, that guy. I want to say Juranovic, something like that. Is it no? Yeah, we'll just call him Novak. Thank you. Okay, Novak. Right, but it's a-okay for him, right, to yell and to throw his tennis racket down and have temper tantrums on the court. And you don't really read bad press about him, but when Serena Williams does it, oh God, that's front page news, right? And they got all kinds of negative commentary about her, saying that she's a spoiled brat. And like I said, sometimes they get racial with it. Okay. Um, but I thought that was um very good and powerful that she actually said that, that she actually learns so much from her losses. Loss, disappointment, when things don't go your way, or if something major or very bad happens. I was told by a very good mentor while I was in the military that you got to take your losses and look at them as a learning opportunity. Okay, that's one thing that's always stuck with me. That happened for a reason. And you need to view that loss or that big major disappointment as a learning opportunity, right? Yes. Thank you. I don't know why it got lost on me, but thank you. Yes. Serena Williams is constantly painted as the angry black woman, right? Thank you. That's exactly what happens. They get racial with it. Okay. They constantly paint her as the angry black woman when she gets frustrated on the court, or when she calls the referees out because they got the wrong call, or if her game is just not on point and she's disappointed in herself. Okay. They paint her as this angry black woman. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out, setting the record straight. Okay. So, like I was saying, Serena says that she learns from her losses. And she went on to say, "Where did you kind of fail at? Because if everything was so good and so clean and so easy, then that doesn't even build character, you know?" And she's right. And then Harry added that life setbacks are often what help people continue to grow. If you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and even your 50s, and you think you've got it sorted, then bad stuff's gonna happen, the prince said. And I can relate to that. I can remember plenty of times in my 20s where I thought I had it going on, right? Who can relate to that? I thought I had it going on in my 20s. You can tell me nothing. And I had a lot of failures in my 20s. Okay. I did. And in my 30s, still, there were times where you couldn't tell me nothing, right? But that's a true statement. If you're in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and even in your 50s and you think you've got it sorted out, then bad stuff's going to happen. Okay. And in my 20s, in my 30s, and now I'm in my early 40s, very early 40s. Not trying to give my age out, but Megan and I were very, 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 very close in age. Um, I could just remember times in my 20s and in my 30s where I honestly thought you couldn't tell Special K thoughts. Nothing. I thought I had it, under control. I thought I was the bomb diggity. I thought I was the shit. And bad things did happen. Okay. But I did learn from some of those bad things because of what a mentor had said to me while I was in the military. That, hey, you got to view that as a teachable moment, right? You got to view that as a learning opportunity. Okay. So let's see. And just overall, I thought that the Better Up Summit and the Inner Work Day was awesome. I did learn from it. Um, and Better Up, it's an American company that's based out of San Francisco, but they are doing business with some European companies. So it's really becoming a global company. And you talk about the press. Did you guys realize the press behind that? All the free advertisement that BetterUp got? Did you guys see that? I mean, that news was global. It was everywhere. All right. Everywhere on social media. I mean, BetterUp really did a good promotion campaign. I mean, big ups to BetterUp for that promotion campaign. I mean, it was everywhere. And everybody knew that it was going to be on February 3rd. Now, of course, Serena Williams and Prince Harry, and another thing, BetterUp, they know they did us wrong, right? They know they was wrong because they had Prince Harry and Serena Williams. I mean, they basically were last, right? Had us wait all damn day for them, so they know they was wrong for that. But overall, I thought that the Inner Workday Summit was great. And it was great to see the different presenters who came from all different walks of life. That's what I loved about it. It was great to see presenters that came from all different walks of life. And I got a better understanding of what Better Up is all about. It's really more so about coaching, right? It's more so about coaching people in regards to their life skills, right? In their work environment. Okay. So I thought some of the ideas that they talked about were great. There was one idea where they were saying that they had encouraged a company to start like a no meeting day, like designate a day where there are absolutely no meetings. And I'm thinking like where I work, like how in the hell can that happen? Like I just can't imagine the agency I work for scheduling one day out the week where there is no meetings. But you never know. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of companies that can do that. Okay. And I also thought the idea of what was it? Like a no screen day that they were talking about. If anybody caught that there was like a no screen day where like nobody, it was either a no screen day or it was 30 minutes of where you cannot look at your screens. I thought that was a really good idea. Okay. Another really good idea I thought was um the the breaks. Constantly taking the 5-minute breaks. I think that's an awesome idea. Okay. I mean, that summit was good. I mean, when I really think about it, like that summit was really good. But the part about, constantly giving your brain like a 5-minute break because it works wonders for the brain. It like gives your brain time to retune so then you can refocus and you'll make better decisions. I thought that was really, really good. It's like that's something else I'm definitely going to try. Okay. Like work for what was it? Something like work for 90 minutes and then give your brain a 5-minute break. I think that's what they said. Okay. Somebody's got, okay. You guys are on it. Okay. Let's see. Let me pay more attention to you guys in the chat. Yes. They called it white spaces between meetings. Okay. All right. And then somebody else. Let's see. I thought I saw somebody in here with no screen day. Okay. No screen day. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Roseanne. Yeah. I thought that was an excellent idea. An excellent idea. All right, Elaine. I know it's late. I know it's late. Good night. Good night, Elaine. I know it's late in the UK. Um, but I thought they had some really, really good ideas, right? Um, and it's stuff that you can, implement in your own personal life. But Better Up is really focused about work, your work environment, right? This is about your work environment. This is about Better Up, working with whatever agency or whatever company that you work for, encouraging your company that you work for to implement these inner work day ideas, which I think is awesome. Right. There was another one that I thought, oh, meditation. Special K thoughts. How are you going to leave out meditation? Okay. Meditation is a really good idea. Is there anybody in the chat who meditates? Anybody? Because let me tell you something. It's not easy. It's not easy meditating. Okay. God bless you if you're good at meditating. All right. Because it's not easy. My advice is for you to if you don't meditate and you're very, very new at it, my advice to you is to start off like maybe 3 minutes and then work your way up because it's not easy. You really have to designate time to meditate, and you got to designate an area within your home or your office, wherever you're at, and you got to make sure that you have no distractions. That's not easy because a distraction could be your mind. Okay. A distraction could be your mind. My best advice is to find, like I said, a very quiet place in your home or in your office, wherever where you have no distractions. The kids aren't around. If you have kids, no music, no nothing, right? And get yourself find a position that's comfortable for you, okay? Because you really have to completely turn your mind off, and that is not easy. It's hard to do that. You're right, Miss Lydia. It's hard to turn your mind off. Hey, Kiki, baby, how you doing? That's okay. We're still here. Um, but the Indian, you know, crossing your legs, I can't do it. I can't do it like that. I just can't. The way I meditate is that I lay all the way on my back and my arms are out. Okay. That's how I meditate. And the first couple of times I tried meditation, I couldn't even make it to 2 minutes. Right. But after about 2 weeks, I was able to go from 2 minutes to 5 minutes. I was able to go from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Now I'm up to 15 minutes. Okay. And it's not easy because your mind wanders and it wanders, and then you start thinking about stuff, and it's not easy. But I'm telling you, once you figure it out, oh my gosh, meditation does wonders. I mean, at least for me, I can literally feel like the stress come off my body. Okay. Like wherever stress is at in your body, like some people carry stress in their neck, some people carry stress in their shoulders. Some people carry stress in their back, right? I carry stress in my shoulders. So when I'm in the zone meditating, I can literally feel like the stress start to leave my shoulders, right? And it feels so good. There have been times I actually fell asleep, okay, and the timer went off. And I was like, oh, that felt good. But yes, meditation. Oh, so somebody, oh, so you meditate in your rocking chair? That's awesome. That is awesome. So meditation is one thing. And I saw somebody else in the chat mention prayer. Okay. Prayer is meditation too. Okay. I think prayer is wonderful. And if you're a praying woman or a man or a praying person, prayer is good as well. Okay. Um, but yeah, I carry stress in my shoulders, and I know a lot of people carry stress in their neck, you know. But I carry it in my shoulders. But you know, the Better Up inner work day, that was a success. It really, really was. It was a success. Okay. And you could tell that Prince Harry in his chief impact officer role, you could tell he's comfortable. You could tell that he likes that role. More than likely, he's doing a very good job at it. I don't know if Prince Harry is actually working as a coach. Obviously, he's doing that with Serena Williams, but it's my understanding that he really is working in the role as a chief impact officer. He's the one that is reaching out to companies, right? And having companies sign up with BetterUp, is my understanding. If anybody knows exactly what Prince Harry does, put it in the chat. But I don't think that if your company signs up with BetterUp, that you could just request Prince Harry to be your coach. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works at all. All right. But anyway, um, it just felt good. It felt good to see that Prince Harry is a part of something positive. Better Up really is a positive thing. I wouldn't pay attention to the noise out there. And the noise is primarily on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it's on some other forums too. But all that noise to me is just a testament to how Prince Harry is thriving. He's really thriving and I'm just so happy for him. You know, to hear him talk about being a husband and a dad and to see his face light up about stuff like that. I think it's awesome. And you could tell that he's really invested in being a chief impact officer. You could tell he's invested in that. So, big ups to Prince Harry. It's just great to see that he's thriving and that he's happy and he's just doing what any normal person would do when it comes to, wanting to take care of their family, but still, you know, provide services, um, because we all know service is universal, and he's continuing in that role, right? All right. Well, you know what? That's really all I have tonight. Um, Anybody have any questions or anything they want to talk about in the chat real quick before we end this podcast? We still have some great things to look forward to when it comes to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. We still have the Invictus Games coming real soon, right? They're coming real soon. Is there anybody in the chat that's going to the Invictus Games? Um, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. Okay, because Prince Harry is going to show up and show out. He is, and it's great to see on Twitter a lot of the athletes that are going to participate posting their training and posting how they are ready for the Invictus Games. So I can't wait for that. We got Prince Harry's memoir coming up. We still have Meghan's show. What's it? Well, are they calling it Pearl? Have they really named it yet? We're not too sure, but we've got her um, adaptation show on Netflix about the 12-year-old girl. That is, her adventures are going to be in regards to highlighting women in history. So we're looking forward to that. So some great things that are happening with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Um, great things to look forward to. So yeah, I agree. I agree. Prince Harry finally has the life that he has always wanted. He's a proud husband and a dad with 2 dogs and rescue chickens. I just love it. I mean, isn't it awesome? Isn't it awesome? Okay, what's this? Check out Harry's Invictus speeches on YouTube. He is so inspirational, beautiful person. Okay, everybody check that out. I need to check that out. Okay, so we got a lot of positive stuff to look forward to when it comes to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Uh, I can't wait, but I really honestly am ready for that memoir. That's what I'm waiting for. But no, 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 no. I'm more so looking forward to the Invictus Games. I really am. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and end this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight to join us on Success Talk. Uh, we are on Spotify. Speaking of Spotify, but we are on Spotify, but we're also on Apple Podcast. Okay, so if you want to check out our podcast, you can check us out on Apple if you do not want to go on Spotify. Um, Thank you, Bright Eyes. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All donations go right back into the podcast. And those of you who have been making donations on PayPal, I appreciate it. I really, really do. I hope you've been getting my thank you notes. But again, we just released a new podcast on Spotify and Apple. And for members, we release that to you individually on YouTube. Check us out on our Instagram page. You guys all know that I be talking mess on Twitter. So you can follow us on Twitter as well. And some people have asked me, yes, I do have 2 Twitter pages. Okay. I have Special K Thoughts, and I also have Meghan, Duchess of Advocacy World Podcast. So on Meghan, Duchess of Advocacy World Podcast, that Twitter page, I try to be tame on that one. The Special K Thoughts Twitter page, I'm foul. Okay, I'm foul and I'm crazy, and I talk a lot of mess on that one. Okay, so somebody pointed that out to me not too long ago. And on the Instagram page, we're pretty mild on that page as well. But if you're listening to us on YouTube, which I know you are, I don't even know why I said that. But if you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. All members, I appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and end this podcast with what? We're going to end our podcast with our famous saying. Okay. Continue to wear the SS on your chest because you know we the best. And don't forget to hydrate. Thank you, everybody. Yes, everybody stay positive, no bad energy. Um, and I will see you guys on Twitter, and I will see you guys next Friday night. Thank you, everybody. Good night. I'll see you guys later. Yes, please, please do. Wear the SS on your chest. But be careful because, it's hard out here in these streets. It's hard out here in these streets for Success Squad fans. Good night, everybody.